I'd like to call the City Council meeting, Calumet City, to order at 6:15 p.m. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Navarrete. Wilson.
Here.
Tillman.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Gardner. Patton. Smith.
Here.
Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? At this time, we'd like to invite up Pastor Stokes, who would say a word of prayer for City Council.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. God, we thank you tonight for your goodness and your kindness toward us. We give you praise for being a consistent God. We thank you for your favor upon us tonight. We ask that you would look on us and provide what we have need of. We ask that you give us wisdom and guidance. And lastly, Father, we do thank you for Alderwoman Wilson for her successful surgery. We ask for you to continue to touch her body and bring healing. We thank you tonight for our mayor and these council and these servants who serve this city so well. And we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. We are at the point of public comment. Is there anyone who would like to comment for the record? Please let the record reflect that 6:16, Alderman Gardner is in the meeting. We are in public comment phase. Anyone from the public can comment on any item on the agenda. If you would like to comment, please step forward to the mic, state your name, state your address.
Hi, my name is Paulette Nelson, 1373 Imperial Avenue. We're having a problem right there on 163rd and Imperial where the stop signs are, 3 stop signs. These guys are running through it like they're on the Bishop Ford. And this morning it was almost a bad accident there. On the next street, that's 163rd and Superior, they have these big trucks, these vans, that's parked on both sides of the streets. So if you're going east and you stop at the stop sign and another person is coming your way, you can't see them, and it can be a head-on collision. So something needs to be done. I don't know if it's maybe a sign needs to be put down where they can park only on one side of the street, because it's like it's like a blind spot. You know, and pretty soon it is going to be an accident, because when I stop at the stop sign and make that right turn, I have to constantly blow my horn because the other people are not stopping, especially since the schools are back and they're picking up their kids from the school down the street. They just go through the stop signs.
Okay.
And that's pretty bad.
Our police chief is in the back. Chief Kolash, if you can get her information, and the chief will talk to you about the safety measure as well. Ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else who would like to comment during public comment?
Mayor Jones, I'm Ray Zala from 155th Place. Thank you for having me here. I'll be brief. First, I'd like to commend the mayor and council for keeping our city relatively safe, something we should be touting. I think we should give our mayor and the police department a hand. I got a very quiet neighborhood. However, for the city to thrive, we need to grow the city into the 21st century. As mayor, you said during your campaign, we haven't built a home in 30 years. Businesses have left the city. We need to re-energize the city. Between Burnham and Wentworth on 155th Street, 26 homes can be built on empty lots. Another 8 homes on 1 square block between Lincoln and Wentworth. Land is 20% of the cost of a home. We have it for free. We need to work with developers, builders, and banks to develop other incentives. The feds have $10 billion allocated for affordable housing grants and other redevelopment help. What about the state, Representative Jones? Also, the future casino money. On Wentworth, we have 2 corner lots from 155th Street to 155th Place. The opposite side, 2 lots from 155th Street to 154th Street. That huge parcel, kitty corner from City Hall. Imagine a 4-story building, multi-purpose, with a 5-star restaurant and 36 studio and 2-bedroom units for young professionals. A city center from the Historical Society to Memorial Park with some multi-use affordable housing buildings. What about ADUs? The rehabbers say they don't want to come to the city because of the ridiculous inspectional services, the worst in the south suburbs. I'm told a screen in 10 had to be put up in a yard before a home could be sold. We have so many advantages to offer. The new South Shore Station, 4-block walking distance to downtown Chicago. 7-minute drive to all the expressways, to any part of the metro area or the country. Build it and people will come. Our own field of dreams. What's the economic department developing? What's the grant czar granting? What plans and vision do you have for the future of Calumet City? Who's going to run with the ball? I'd like some comments if there's any. Thank you.
So, for the record, we have at 6:18, we have Alderman Navarrete, and then at 6:22, we have Alderman Patton joining the meeting. Sir, if you can, Jewel is going to get your information and we'll respond to you in writing.
Mayor, thanks for the good job.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address public comment? If not, we will move forward with our agenda. Item 5 on our agenda is approval of minutes. Has everyone had the opportunity to look at the minutes so stated on the agenda? If so, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented on the agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Williams to approve the minutes as presented. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Navarrete,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Tillman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Patton, Smith.
Thank you. Minutes pass, 7-0. The next item on the agenda, item 6, reports of standing committees. Alderman Gardner, Finance.
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Public Safety, Alderman Williams.
Nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Public Utilities, Alderman Patton.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Ordinance and Resolutions, Alderman Tillman.
Real brief, Mayor. Just want to let the council know that 2 items that came out of the Ordinance and Resolutions Committee will be on the next agenda, September 28th. That is the adoption of the current building codes and the adoption of an ordinance regarding overnight truck parking enforcement. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Health, Education, and Welfare, Alderwoman Wilson.
Thank you. Just a few items. In my Vice President Harris voice, we did it, Joe. The reimbursement for my health, education, and welfare back to school fair is on this agenda. So we are closer to getting my money back. So I am encouraging my council to vote yes, yes, pay the alderwoman, give her money back. And I thank you in advance for that. I also would like to We have started for the second ward, but all of Calumet City is welcome to join. There's a Facebook group. We have an initiative in the second ward that is Elevate, Educate, and Empower. We post resources from around the city that this administration may post. Everybody, as much information as we give out, we all don't see the same stuff. Our state reps post a lot of information that we can use, our senators, the federal government posts. So everything will be in one place. You can go to my Facebook, social media. If you can't find it, just type in hashtag Alderwoman Wilson and everything about me will come up. I would like to also take this time during health, education, and welfare to offer a word of prayer and thoughts. My son, CJ, is a junior at Morehouse College. When your kids go to school, their friends become your friends, and family becomes your family. And freshman year, he found his tribe. There's 6 of them. 2 of them were killed in a car accident during Labor Day. So I'm asking for prayers for Hugh Douglas Jr.'s family and Christian Files. These were 2 remarkable young men, remarkable student athletes, and my nephew's sons. And they will be missed. Thank you, that is all.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Permits and licensing, Alderman Smith.
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman. Public Works, Alderman Navarrete.
No report this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. City Council reports, we'll start with Alderman Smith.
Yes, just want to remind the 7th Ward residents that our monthly town hall meeting will be this Saturday at DA's Banquet Hall from 10 a.m. to noon. We will be discussing recent events along with any other news regarding the city and the ward. If you have any questions on that, please contact my office at 708-891-8197 or email asmith@calumetcity.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Patton, 6th Ward.
Thank you, Mayor. Just really quickly, wanted to touch on speed bumps. This year, it seems like we had more speed bump requests in the 6th Ward than we've ever had in the past, including some that are still coming in and some that were just approved recently and are going to be going down soon. However, I have been informed by Public Works that starting next month, the speed bumps are going to be taken up for the winter time. So please, these requests are reapproved every year. So if your block had speed bumps this year and you're looking for them again next year, they're not going to be automatically put back down. You need to request them again, and we need to get them approved again. Other than that, anything else, please continue to contact my office, 708-891-8196. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. 5th Ward, Alderman Gardner.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start off by thanking the mayor and the city council for supporting the 5th Ward Family Fun Fest. I'd like to thank the Public Works Department for the setup, the Police and Fire Department, all of the vendors that came out. We partnered with a few local businesses around the city. I would like to thank Networks Barber College for providing haircut vouchers, free haircut vouchers to the students. I would like to thank the Chicago Veterans Forum for providing haircuts, Humana, and several other agencies. Also, I would like to just remind the 5th Ward residents to continue to contact my office, 708-891-8195. That's 708-891-8195. Last but not least, I would like to thank Public Works in their efforts to clean the vacant homes and get rid of the overgrown vegetation. And residents continue to call those in. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Williams, 4th Ward.
Thank you, Mayor. First and foremost, God makes all things possible. Just want to encourage the residents to continue to call to express your concerns. Let us know what issues that you may need to get resolved, and we will work to get those matters resolved as expeditiously as possible. The next 3rd and 4th Ward meeting will be Monday, October 2nd at Downey Park at 6:30 p.m. So please, encouraged to come out and, again, express your concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. 3rd Ward, Alderman Tillman.
No report.
Thank you, Alderman. Second Ward, Alderwoman Wilson.
Thank you. I encourage everyone to continue to call the Second Ward office, myself, or Lauren, who has really stepped in while I've had my surgery and taken the reins of making sure the ward has everything they need. She will be able to assist you as well. She has access to my telephone, email, and text messages. You can call me directly at 708-586-4990. Those who reached out to me about the senior prom tickets, I understand that's the hottest ticket of the season in Calumet City. Those of you who have already been approved for the tickets, I'll make sure that Lauren drops them off this week. If you are interested, I still have a few tickets left. Please text me at 586-4990. You must reside in the Second Ward. Those of you who do not, I will forward your information to your alderperson. I have asked that the residents download the ComEd app. From the ComEd app, you can report your streetlight outages directly. Continue to send them to my office, but if you report it immediately as it's happening, they have a record of it, you get a ticket number and a tracking number right there on the app. We will not have any meetings for this month. The next meeting will be announced, and again, our Second Ward meetings are now called block meetings. So we encourage everyone to attend. If you are not receiving text messages or emails from my office, please text me your information to 708-586-4990, and my intern Lauren will update our systems. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Navarrete.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick update on our Burnham plan here in Calumet City. I know over the years, many of you have heard me update on the progress and the recommendations of that Burnham plan. On the agenda today is something that will support that, and that's the acquisition of some properties, specifically Lee's Chicken, if you all are familiar with that or in town when that was open still. The city is acquiring those properties. Since 2020, we've been pretty active in acquiring properties on Burnham Avenue, either raising those properties, the old Meats by Lentz, the old muffler shop on Sibley and Burnham, and continue to acquire vacant lots on Burnham Avenue behind the VFW. The goal in acquiring these properties is to be able to package these properties to developers, similar to a public comment that we had earlier. Once we have these properties in order and in blocks, and we can figure out what it is that we want to see there, we can go ahead and pursue some economic development opportunities. One of the biggest challenges on Burnham Avenue was when businesses, in case in point, let's say Lee's Chicken, we had a few that would like that property, but there was back taxes associated with that property. It didn't make it economic sense for them to acquire that property with the back taxes and then continue to have them make a significant investment in the property to bring it up to code. So we were kind of in this kind of trick bag here. I know this administration, Alderman Gardner, kind of leading the way with South Suburban Land Bank. We've been very aggressive in acquiring properties on Burnham Avenue. So it's been good to see the progress that we're making on that recommendation of the Burnham plan. And again, associated kind of in tandem with the Burnham plan, another recommendation that's exciting was streetscape improvements, walkability improvements. We solicited IDOT back in 2020, or 2019, I apologize, to get Burnham Avenue resurfaced and to have bump outs installed. It's a kind of a traffic calming measure, specifically on Memorial Drive in Burnham, where children are heavily walking back and forth from Wilson Elementary School and St. Victor Church, and when it was still active, Memorial Park. We have a lot of assets on Memorial Drive. A lot of folks are walking that street. Good news was when Mayor Jones came on board, he was able to put the resurfacing funds for Burnham Avenue in our, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, into our Rebuild Illinois funds. Those funds were already, the funds for that work were already allocated under IDOT because we had started that process already. The good news was Farnsworth Group, our city engineers, the mayor, our economic development team, met with IDOT, is my understanding, and we were able to use the funds that they were going to allocate to the resurfacing, since we had already had that money allocated. We can go ahead and perform the work for bump outs, branding, street beautification efforts. So exciting times, I think, to marry those two things together. We are at a point now, we do have an item on the agenda that we will be discussing as we start to see developers want to seek to relocate to Burnham Avenue. So again, an exciting time, and again, a team effort. Again, it's been a long time coming. A lot of these implementation of these recommendations in the Burnham Plan take some time before they can get going. You know, things very quickly, we took care of very quickly. Our zoning code did not have a mixed-use designation. We were able to update our zoning code with a mixed-use designation so that we can have the opportunity to use and develop mixed use on Burnham Avenue. And I think the intent is to do that, to create density for that corridor. So again, you know, exciting for that to happen. We did amend our Calumet City Comprehensive Plan back in 2020, December of 2020. Our zoning board recommended to adopt the Burnham Avenue Revitalization Plan as an appendix to our Calumet City Comprehensive Plan. So things like that, we've done quickly, but these, of course, have taken some time. So again, an exciting time, and just wanted to give that update as it pertains to Burnham Avenue. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman. Under the mayor's report, we have some exciting news for residents. We have FEMA in town. So we've experienced the flood event that happened June 28th through July 3rd. So the federal government has come to Calumet City. They're at the library now. They'll be here until October. I would invite our fire chief up to give us more explanation of what our partnership with FEMA, but this is exciting not only for our residents, but residents throughout the Southland will be able to come to the library for this FEMA assistance. They're already set up, they're in the community room. Chief Bockert, if you can provide more details.
Sure. Yeah, with the efforts of Mayor Jones, we did get FEMA to come out here. They are taking over the conference room at the library. They had a soft opening yesterday, and today was their official day for opening. 7 days a week, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. they will be there. This was to do with the storm that happened in early July. So if you were affected by any water that your basement or house took from that flooding that occurred, talk to FEMA. They have all the paperwork over there. Again, I walked in there today. There had to be at least 12 FEMA workers that are waiting for residents to come. My understanding is prior to them opening up the office, they had 1,000 inquiries already, not just Calumet City, but from the area through emails. So this is a great thing for Calumet City, and along with the neighboring towns. Again, anyone that had flooding that occurred beginning of July, stop by Calumet City Library 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. The next news is about the library as well. So the library started last week with opening on Saturdays. So now the library will be open 9 a.m. to noon on Saturdays. We encourage residents, if you want to go to the library on Saturdays, please, library is open. We're going to try to get them to open until 2 o'clock. We know this has been a long time coming, but I wanted to let the residents know that the library has taken the steps to open up on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon. The next item, many of you have attended the Mobile Museum of Tolerance. This museum, they partner with 2 schools within our area. The first school will be Lincoln Elementary School. They will be at Lincoln Elementary School September 20th and September 22nd. The Mobile Museum not only teaches about hate, but it also teaches about the experience. Is a technology bus that the city and the state of Illinois partner with to get them the funds to get this bus. If you have not seen this bus, please, it's at Lincoln Elementary School, September 20th from 12:40 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And it's again September 22nd from 11:50 a.m. to 12:58 p.m. So if you get a chance, go by and see the bus. It's an exciting bus, and they're going to do a lot of things in our community. The next item on our agenda is item 8 is informational items to be accepted and placed on file. Did any alderman have any questions regarding items 8A through H? If not, make a motion to accept them and place them on file.
So move.
Motion by Alderman Tillman, second by Alderman Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. This item passes. Item 9 on the agenda, we're going to start off with City Attorney Dominic. We don't need a motion for the FEMA. Put that on there. Just for the benefit of the public, we held a special meeting on September 11th, I'm sorry. The basis of that meeting was 473 Burnham Avenue. It's on the agenda as a different address. The actual address is 473 Burnham, where the City Council took up a potential gas station and rezoning recommendation from the Zoning Board. There was a motion to reconsider the vote, and we're at that phase because there was a second motion to postpone the vote until tonight, and that's where we are tonight. So I will turn it over to Attorney Dominic to guide us through.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe the applicant is present at tonight's meeting. Your Honor, this is new business number A2, as well as, if you go to the section C, resolutions and ordinances number 3 and 4. 473 Burnham at some point in time appeared to have been a gas station. The current zoning does not allow fuel stations to be in a B1 district, and that is what this property is zoned as. Also within a B, so it had to be rezoned of B2. And within a B2, in order to operate a fuel station, you have to have a special use. Per your code, it's allowed in a B2. August 3rd of this year, the Zoning Board of Appeals conducted a hearing on the applicant's petition to rezone, as well as the application for a special use to operate a fuel station. And we provided to Don the transcript of the proceedings. The Zoning Board unanimously approved, after going through the findings of fact and recommendations to this City Council, to authorize the rezoning of the property from a B1 to a B2, as well as to afford a special use permit to the applicant for a fuel station. At that time, also, the renderings were submitted, although that's not really, this isn't about the building permits or setbacks or things like that. They did provide the renderings. They also provided information regarding what would be sold and would not be sold at the convenience store. And I know the applicant's here. I don't want to steal his thunder, but I don't believe there's going to be no alcohol, correct? And no lottery, correct? So this fuel station is also going to have charging stations. I know there were some questions regarding hours of operation and whether or not, I think that the application may have said 24/7, but I believe that you can add a special condition of the special use permit. However, at this point in time, there was a recommendation to the City Council to approve both items. Should the City Council choose not to, you're going to have to make your own findings of fact that diverge from what the Zoning Board of Appeals concluded at their public hearing hosted on August 3rd.
So before we do that, can we have the applicants come up? The problem with one of the issues that the alderman had was the presentation. So we want to better understand the presentation before the zoning board We also want you to answer any questions that the aldermen have. Right now, we're in the phase of, there's 2 items on the agenda. We have to decide if there's new facts to go against the zoning board recommendation and also what the city council has. So if you guys want to present your presentation, we'll do that tonight.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Layali. I'm the project manager that's been working on this closely with Mr. Abdullah. So he has a history of developing multiple gas stations throughout the Chicagoland area, but what's very unique about his projects is that he's very much about implementing different forms of programs that help and aid the community. He can elaborate if he wants to, but some examples are, which he just started about 2 years ago, so he just did his second one in August. It's called Back to School Kicks, where he provides hundreds of pairs of shoes for young children that are getting ready to go into school, prepare for their first day of school. So he helps in donating, providing new pairs of shoes. He has an event. He holds it either at his own businesses or somewhere within the community, which I think is pretty special for the area. And he also established this program where he provides multiple scholarship programs for children within schools within that specific area that his businesses are stationed in. So, we see this as an opportunity. This has been a vacant lot for at least 6 years. So we want to use this as a way to stimulate economic growth of the area, as well as providing new community programs for the residents. We're very much about making sure that it's very well landscaped. We're not doing anything too drastic to the sites. We're just repaving asphalt, uplifting the exterior, and like was mentioned before, no selling of alcohol. It'll be also alternative fuels, so this will help us and be more competitive with, I think the closest gas station is in off state borders in Indiana, and then 2 miles west. So this will help in providing also competitive pricing for the area, and again, just providing hopefully more economic growth for your area. And Sibley and Burnham is known to be very high traffic areas, so hopefully this can help in aiding that and supporting that.
Are there any questions from the alderman regarding the presentation?
I think you were speaking? I'll wait till he finishes speaking.
I'm sorry?
Mr. Mohammed, do you have anything to add?
Yes, there's one thing I did not add last time. We are a fuel supplier. We supply fuel to 55 gas stations in the city of Chicago. So we have an access to the fuel with low prices. We don't have a middleman, so we buy directly from the refinery. So we will be able to compete with the prices. So you don't have to go across the border to Indiana. I can guarantee that the prices will be exactly or maybe less than the price along the border with Indiana. So we want to keep the money here in the Illinois, in the village of Calumet City. Yes.
Alderwoman, did you have any questions before I go to Alderman Everett?
So my question is the same as it was the last meeting. I am really concerned what the safety plan is, and I understand that wasn't presented and maybe doesn't have to be presented to the zoning board, but we have 3 large school districts that walk that area. That is the children from elementary school to middle school to high school all come back and forth. And over the past maybe 5 years, and the chief can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but there have been shootings on that corner. And so bringing people in right off of thoroughways that are coming from Indiana, Calumet City, Burnham, wherever is a concern for me with the high traffic of children walking. And so did you have time in between the last meeting and now to think about what a safety plan would be for your?
That's something we definitely need to take more time and to collaborate with and work with you all to better understand how we can approach that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and as I mentioned last time, we are, of course, we are willing to work with you, to listen to you, and to take any recommendations for the safety plans.
Alderman Neff, are you finished, Alderwoman?
May I ask, just so I have it for my record, who is on the zoning board and where do they post the meetings? Because I would have come to the hearing or sent someone to come to the hearing.
So for the record, there was an August 2nd zoning board meeting that's posted on the city website.
Okay.
There was also, they're required to submit and send the notice of the zoning board meeting to anyone within 100 feet area. Is that correct, Dominic?
Okay.
50 feet area, 250 feet area that they sent certified notices to for that area that was sent on August 2nd. The zoning board meetings are posted on our website. If you like it another way, we can do that, but the zoning board recommendation is before the city council tonight, Alderman.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Alderman Navarrete?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a point of clarification, I guess, on what was just talked about. The ZBA board meetings are not posted on our city website, and the alderman of the ward was not notified by the zoning board of the meeting.
That's not true, Alderman. Put facts and evidence that are true, Alderman.
I would like to
ZBA meeting is
submit for the
posted
record
on-
a screenshot.
Alderman, I'm not going to
dated
talk over you.
9/13/23 at 10:30 p.m.
Alderman.
showing the zoning board of appeals agendas.
Alderman.
December 16th, 2020, July 17th, 2018.
Alderman, unless you want to be removed, Alderman, you're going to do this the right way, okay? I'm not going to talk over you, you're not going to talk over me. You understand that? The zoning board meetings are posted on the website. This meeting was held on August 2nd. I will send you a list of the zoning board meetings and who's a member of that board meeting. They are required by law to send a certified letter to anyone within a 200 feet area. That includes you.
It does not include me, Mayor.
So if you did not get a notice, you have to put facts and evidence, Alderman. Well, we're going to go to that portion. Right now, we're asking about the presentation that they're giving. So if you don't have any questions asking about the presentation, we'll go to the motion that's on the agenda. Do you have any questions about the presentation?
I do, thank you.
Proceed.
You submitted a letter of intent May 23rd, 2023. I received that letter of intent on Saturday. So in that proposal, or in that letter of intent, under project proposal, there's a bullet point that states gas station with convenience mart to operate 24/7. Is it the intent for the convenience store to operate 24/7?
Yes, the intent is to operate 24/7, but again, we're willing to work with the village if that's something that doesn't work as well with the surrounding businesses.
Was this brought up in the zoning board meeting?
Yes, I believe it was.
The hours of operation?
Yes.
And it was not
It was-
amended at that meeting?
It was
Recommended to be
directly
amended?
asked to my client about the hours of operation, and I believe he specified.
You specified 24/7?
Yes.
And that's where it was left? Right, thank you.
Yeah, just like she mentioned, the hours of operation will be just consistent with the surrounding areas. Wherever they are, if they are open 24/7, we will, but if there is any recommendations or any comments or any restrictions, we will work with you.
I appreciate you willing to work with us. Site development, you have maintained greenscape along Burnham Avenue and Sibley. There is no greenscape along Burnham Avenue and Sibley currently, and the renderings that were showed the existing, which is a corner, kind of little plantings.
Yes, currently it's dead landscaping. We plan on revitalizing what's currently on the corner of Sibley and Burnham, and then providing the strip of green along each streets.
Okay, so that wasn't in the rendering, but That's something that was planned?
I'm sorry?
It's not currently in the drawings, but is that something that's currently planned?
It's currently in the landscape site plan, which was provided, but it is also planned.
Okay, I don't think I had the landscape site plan then, because it just shows that corner. If they're saying there's more green landscape than just the corner that's existing, that's not reflected in the current drawings that were submitted.
We have just that corner and then a small strip of green along either streets. We had to maintain what we needed for the drive aisles and the amount of parking that's required, so that's why we maintain it to what was presented.
Okay, I guess my statement is currently it's not there, but if you intend to do it, I think we can leave it at that. Now, was greenscape at all brought up during the zoning board meeting?
I believe it wasn't brought up, but all the drawings were provided for the ZBA hearing.
Thank you. Traffic circulation is the next topic you have. You have a bullet point that says minimal impact on local traffic. Is there a traffic study to support that statement, or is that just a statement that was made?
There has not been made a traffic study.
I'm sorry?
A traffic study has not been made.
Was that bullet point brought up in the zoning board meeting?
Yes.
And what was the answer to that?
The LOI was submitted for the ZBA, but it was not a point of discussion at the hearing.
Thank you. Under community, you have provide quality. Can you elaborate on provide quality?
Just in that, again, this has been a vacant lot for 6+ years, so providing a respectable business that will hopefully increase the quality of the community.
Thank you. The next bullet statement is the nearest gas station is 2 miles away. You did reference the Indiana gas station, which is about a half a mile away. Mm-hmm. Just to put in perspective, we do have a gas station a half a mile away in Indiana.
Yes, but that would require us to cross state borders, so we'd like to compete with that.
Understandable. I just thought it would be, you mentioned 2 miles away. We'll mention that it's a half mile also in the east direction. Was that brought up in the zoning board meeting at all? That point?
I believe it wasn't, no.
Safe pedestrian access for locals and public walkways. Can you elaborate on what exactly that means?
We plan on repaving the existing sidewalks there so that it's more user-friendly. That's simply it.
Thank you. You also mentioned in your presentation that you'll just, and the drawings also reflect, the investment in the property would be to paint the current facade, to maintain the corner landscape, kind of haphazard attempt to create kind of a streetscape. You'll maintain that. You'll have a wood fence along the perimeter, 2 sides, to the east and to the north. And concrete pads, I believe, where the cars will park.
Correct.
Is that the extent of the improvements that are recommended?
Yes, I mean, we're still trying to be respectful of the client's budget.
Okay. Could you elaborate a little bit on how long the zoning board meeting was and maybe some questions that were asked during that meeting?
I believe it lasted about a half hour. What was asked was what was going to be sold, or if alcohol is going to be sold, hours of operation, and if the sidewalks were going to be repaved.
And no pushback on hours of operation, correct?
No.
An email was sent to me the day after of our Monday special meeting we held on Monday, where I asked my city council if I can have until today to review some documents and try to get additional information. And again, I appreciate my colleagues allowing me that this time to do so. Mr. Alvin Ritter contacted me on your behalf. Is he present today?
Mr. Alan Ritter, is that him?
Mr. Alvin Ritter.
Alderman, that's a second proposal. It's not this proposal.
For the record, hello Alderman Everett. Hope all is well with you. My name is Al Ritter, and I'm part owner of a group presenting a proposed gas station in your ward. We wanted to speak with you before a meeting, if possible, to answer any questions in hopes of gaining your support. I'd be happy to share with you the concept drawings. Please let me know your thoughts. Al Ritter. This is not anyone that's associated with you.
That's not us, no.
Yeah, again, Alderman, that's the second proposal that the city received for 473 Burnham. That's not this proposal that's before the zoning board.
That's interesting. That's all the questions I have. Thank you so much. Any other closing statements, feel free. I do have more questions for Attorney Dominic Lanzito, our Economic Development Director, Donna Lesky, and anyone from the zoning board that might be present.
You're not going to call all those people up, Alderman. Attorney Dominic will answer questions. We're not going to put our city employees under inquisition in front of the public regarding the economic development. Attorney Dominic, what's on the agenda tonight is the motion. You want to step to the mic and tell us how we're...
Yes, Mayor. And just for the record, there is a transcript of the proceedings from the zoning board, so there's an official record of all the questions that were asked and all the responses from the respective board members. But Alderman, whatever questions you have, please.
Mr. Lanzito, me and you spoke on the phone, I believe the day after Monday's meeting, maybe 2 days after. I'm pretty sure it was the day after. In that phone call, you told to me I was in search of... I had sent an email to our Economic Development Director asking for assistance in a few items. And I think you spoke to me that you had these items. They were public hearing notice for the zoning board, the agenda for the zoning board meeting that day, because these items, again, are not on our city website. The meeting minutes of that meeting.
I didn't say meeting minutes. I know that.
A report
I
of
wouldn't have the
findings.
meening minutes
Okay.
until the...
Report of findings?
The report of findings was in the transcript, yes. I said
Report
that.
of findings.
Which is in the transcript.
Okay. And you mentioned that this was sent over to our Economic Development Director. I reached out to our Economic Development Director with no response. He is here today, but I don't want to, I guess, bring him up to ask him. But is there a reason why that was not shared with the council at any point?
I forwarded a copy of the transcript as soon as it was available from the court reporting service to the Economic Development Director. I can't speak to what someone else did.
Would you say that the city council is privy to that information?
Are you, pardon me?
Would you say that the council is privy to having that information, and that it's important to have that information when we're having a meeting about it right now? We had a meeting about it Monday. Would you not think that that's important information for the council to have?
I forwarded it as soon as it was available to me.
I understand you did, and I appreciate that you forwarded it, and I'm sure, and I have no issue with you forwarding it. I'm asking, do you, in your opinion, would you think that that is something privy, that the council should have that in front of us?
If you needed it for your deliberations, I think you should have it.
Thank you.
Alderman, please wrap up your questions. Dominic, tell us the procedure of how we're going to move forward right now.
Okay, so there's two agenda items.
Let me make sure.
Mayor, I'm not finished with
Let me make sure that the Alderman, you got one more question, and then we'll move on.
Ms. Lanzito, would you say that during zoning board meetings that it'd be appropriate, considering that the Calumet City Comprehensive Plan voted on by the zoning board in 2020, December of 2020, adopting the Burnham Avenue Revitalization Plan as an appendix to this Calumet City Comprehensive Plan, would you say that the zoning board meeting, that this should have been brought up as the Calumet City, the Burnham Avenue Revitalization Plan has this corner proposed to be zoned mixed use? And that was not discussed at the zoning board meeting, maybe at no fault of the zoning board meeting, maybe just a poor communication of not understanding the process maybe, but would it be appropriate for them to have brought up the Burnham Plan, considering it is adopted as an appendix to our Calumet City Comprehensive Plan, and include zoning for that specific parcel to be mixed use?
So I just want to be clear on what you're saying. You're asking, would it have been appropriate if they had brought it up? Yes, and I think it was equally appropriate for them to proceed in the manner in which they did, which was to vote determining whether or not it met the factors for a rezoning and whether or not it met the factors for a special use following a rezoning. So unless it's mandatory on them and requires them not to allow zoning or not to allow a certain project, it could have gone either way. You could have either presented the information and they could have said it, voted against it because it did not fit within the comprehensive plan, or if it's a guideline as opposed to a requirement, I don't believe that they have to consider it, and that becomes a policy decision for this city council.
So they do not have to consider our comprehensive plan when
If the comprehensive plan is a requirement that only certain businesses, and it alters the zoning, then, or doesn't allow certain items to be zoned there, then I would say that's something they should consider. That was not addressed there.
Right.
Because I'm not aware that the zoning, the comprehensive plan trumps or overrides or restricts what could go there.
Thank you for that honesty. And I think it's important that we investigate that point.
Alderman,
if they
we're going to move forward, Alderman. You've asked your 2 more questions. I gave you a latitude to ask your questions. We're going to move forward. Dominic, please tell us how we proceed in the 2 items that we have.
Before he does that, may I have just a clarification? Is the zoning board, are the people that make up the zoning board employees, because you said you didn't want the employees speaking, or is there an outside? I have concerns regarding the zoning board. Are they qualified to make the decisions that they're making on behalf of our wards?
So let's just say this. Our zoning board is qualified because it's made up of former aldermen. It's made up of a school board member. It's made up, the chairman has been on the zoning board for 10 years. There are items that go before the ZBA, so we're not going to call the ZBA qualifications into question. Before us tonight is a recommendation before the ZBA. The zoning, the Calumet City Burnham Plan can be altered at any time. There's no funding restriction by the state of Illinois. There's no funding restriction by the federal government that says that Plan A or Plan B is what we have to go with. So tonight before us is the action that was taken at the city council meeting on Monday, September 11th. The zoning board qualifications, I can send you a list.
I would like it, because they're making decisions for our wards
This is a recommendation, Alderman.
well, they're making recommendations that you all want us to support, and because you are a school board member doesn't mean that you know what it is to, for a community that surrounds any business coming in, or what that would do to the residents of the community, and the alder person should be at every one of these meetings. It's nothing to send an email, a phone call to be included, but I understand we're here for one reason, so take it away.
I got a question. Just an ask of Attorney Lanzito, can you explain what exactly the zoning board responsibility is?
The Zoning Board of Appeals, it interprets your code, and so within your code, you can ask for rezoning. You could ask for variations of the code. You can ask for a special use permit if it's part of the delineated lists within your zoning code. They then, in turn, listen to the presentation. Will the proposed development block light, air, so on and so forth? Will it create congestion that doesn't exist? Will it negatively impact the surrounding property values? Will it negatively impact or impede future development of the adjacent lots or the surrounding areas? And they're members of the community, they're appointed members of the zoning board, and after hearing the presentation, they hear from the staff's recommendations. They then determine yes or no on those various factors, and they're within the transcript, and then they turn around and make a recommendation to the city council based on what they heard during the public hearing.
So any decision made by the zoning board is not binding, and it's the determination of the council to decide whether we want to move forward with whatever it is the recommendation is, and that's it, right?
Yes, and there are...
So if we don't want it, we don't have to vote for it,
You
correct?
can vote against the rezoning, you can vote against the special use, absolutely, but you'll have to state on the record a specific factual basis for doing so.
Okay.
Not just, I don't like this, or I don't, it has to be something more significant or substantive than that. If
Right,
it's
so-
green space, well, I'm sorry.
So whatever their recommendation is, we do not have to support their recommendation.
You can vote against the recommendation of the Zoning Board of Appeals.
So,
Do
Attorney
you know
have to
who's on
follow-
the zoning board?
Alderwoman Wilson, I didn't recognize you, so let's do one at a time. Let's do one at a time.
Attorney, like everybody else.
I understand, but Alderwoman, we want to keep this cordial, we want to keep this instructional. Were you finished with your statement, Attorney
Well,
Dominic?
I believe, I don't know if Alderman Williams, if I finished answering his question, or if you were asking another.
I think you've answered all the questions that you probably need to answer in order for us to make a decision.
Okay.
Alderwoman Wilson, one last question.
And so I had asked initially, who makes up the zoning board? Because I know we have a bunch of appointments and things that the mayor gets to appoint that come before us, some don't come before us, or their time limit is extended. I'm asking because you said that we don't have to support the recommendations of the zoning board. But some of the, and I could take one of the things in my ward, for example, even though this zoning board may not have had anything to do with it. But we have a car wash that opens up at 7 a.m. before the ordinance on noise. And if that went before a zoning board, and that was the recommendation of the zoning board who thought that was a good idea, and whomever, either last council or this council approved it, I just think that the qualification we should have some qualified people. And we should know who's on that zoning board when they go to change zoning for residential areas.
This is already a B1 zoning, first. Second of all, in every other community I represent, the Zoning Board of Appeals is made up of members of the community, and that's how the law is written. With respect to the car wash, for example, there's a special use permit being sought here. If Alderman Navarrete wishes to say, we want, instead of 24/7, the special use is restricted only to ordinary hours of operation to similar gas stations, or fuel stations, which I believe is something the petitioner would agree with. I can't speak to what happened with the car wash, but I can tell you if it did go before the zoning board, it would have come to the city council, and the city council would have either voted on the recommendation, they could have added stipulations to the special use permit, or they could have disagreed. You don't have to agree, but if you don't agree, there has to be some compelling substantive facts as to why.
Yeah.
But it's your particular situation, if it went before the zoning board, it would have definitely come before the city council. That's the only way it could have been done.
So, Attorney Dominic, turning you back to the item before us, please direct the city council on the item before us and how we'll proceed.
The first item that you would have to consider is the ordinance to approve the rezoning from a B1 to a B2, so B2 at 473 Burnham. That's number 4. If that is approved, then at that point in time, it would be ripe to vote on item number 3, which is the special use for the, make a motion. I'm sorry?
That would be item number 2.
No, he's under ordinances, not new business.
Resolutions and ordinances, I'm sorry. We're talking about the approval of the ordinances. First, you would deal with the rezoning. If the rezoning is approved, then you would deal with the special use. And you could, during discussion, if you wanted to, Alderman Navarrete, you could add any restrictions such as what, for time of operation as part of a special use. The other stuff about greenscape and those items, I believe, are probably more appropriate for a building permit.
So,
And code
Attorney Dominic, there was a motion to reconsider. We're in the motion to reconsider. We have the ordinance before us, so we're going to do the motion first, and then we'll do the ordinance, or how do you want to do it?
The motion to reconsider, we did the research, it is official, it passed. So basically, we have to then, it's starting from scratch, you'd have to make a motion to approve item C4, which is the ordinance approving, or I'm sorry, rezoning, item C3, rezoning the property located at 473 Burnham Avenue from B1 to B2. And then item 4, which would be an ordinance approving a special use in a B2 service area for use as a fuel station at 473 Burnham Avenue, will be the second motion. So that's how the items would have to be motioned and then discussed and voted upon.
So we're on item C, resolution. and
C3 first, Your Honor, yes.
C3 first.
So are we deviating from new business 9A?
Is there a motion to deviate from the regular order of business?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner, second by Alderman Smith. We in the motion to deviate. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're deviating because we're going down the agenda. We're on ordinance and resolution. We're going to take this item up first, Alderman Williams, and then go back to the regular order of business. So item C3 on the agenda, that's ordinance and resolutions. Tonight, we need a motion and a second if you approve the project, and then we'll take a vote on the project. Alderman Tillman, this is there a motion to approve item 3 on the agenda?
I am still undecided, waiting for discussion, so someone else will have to make the motion.
Is motion made by Alderman Smith. Is there a second to the motion to approve item 3 on the agenda? Is there a second to approve the motion, item 3 on the agenda? If not, item 3 fails for a lack of second, and the ordinance is not approved. Item 4 on the agenda, the ordinance approving the special use in B2 service for a gasoline fuel station at 473 Burnham. Is there a motion to approve item 4 on the agenda? So moved. Motion made by Alderman Smith. Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Is there a second to the motion, item 4? Item 4 dies for a lack of second and is not approved on the City Council agenda. While we're in ordinance and resolution and deviation, we might as well take up item 1, 2, and 5. Alderman Tillman. Item 1 on the agenda is an ordinance governing traffic and vehicles. Item 2 on the agenda is approving enterprise zone incentives for 800 Riverside Drive, H.B. Taylor. And item 5 is a ordinance changing or amending ordinance 2321, which is a handicap ordinance. Alderman Tillman?
You said, I'm sorry, you said item number 5 is about the handicap ordinance?
That's the handicap ordinance section.
I believe it's about
Salaries. Establishing salaries and other things.
yeah, it's a salary thing. I just wanted to make sure all the aldermen was aware of that. But I'd like to make a motion to approve items 1, 2, and 4 as presented.
5, Alderman.
1, 2, and 5, sorry.
Motion on the table is to approve items 1, 2, and 5. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second by Alderwoman Wilson. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll?
Motion for discussion, Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you. Is there a reason to amend the salary ordinance after we just passed the budget? Can we elaborate on it?
Not without going to executive session, Alderman. It's an item that was given to us by John Katsberg. Correct, Mr. Treasurer?
So it's about ASDA.
Item 5 on the agenda, amending the salary ordinance by John Katsberg. It was a...
There were 2 Scribner errors, Alderman. One of the salaries appeared in the appropriation ordinance that did not appear in the salary ordinance. So we're correcting that oversight. The other one being discussions were had with regard to this employee and an increase in their salary, and it was inadvertently left out of the final document. That's why we're coming back to make these two changes.
May we enter executive session to address this matter at the end of the meeting? In more detail about the oversights and details of the miscommunications?
There was a motion and a second on the floor.
Understood.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Navarrete,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Tillman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Patton, Smith.
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to go back into the regular order of business at 7:20 p.m.?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Smith. Is there a second?
So moved.
Second by
sorry.
Alderman Williams. We are back in the regular order of business at 7:21 p.m. We left off on item number, under new business, we have items 8A, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Item 11 has already been decided, and we will remove that item. So we have items 1, 3, 4 through 10.
Just a quick question on item 8. It's an intergovernmental agreement for our Phase 2 engineering on State Street. I was under the impression that Phase 2 engineering was already underway. Is this in addition to that?
Yes, I can elaborate, Mayor. It is a intergovernmental agreement as a result of an Invest in Cook grant, transportation grant from Cook County Department of Transportation. And what had happened is that the previous consultant, about 3 years ago, had put together an estimate of cost, and we went to get surface transportation money for State Street improvement from State Line to the Burnham Greenway. However, in that length of time, while the Phase 1 is being completed by Mont McDonald, there's been increases in costs and inflation. So with a collaboration with the CED, we applied for Invest in Cook money. The city was successful in getting that grant of $300,000, which would cover the shortfall and prevent the city from having to contribute its own funds for the engineering.
Yeah. This was on the special meeting as well, Alderman, where Val came up about $300,000.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of it. I was just, I mean, this is another project that we've been pursuing for quite some time and working on. We did Phase 1 engineering quite some time ago. We're in Phase 2 engineering now, which again is exciting. I know this has turned into a larger project, not just in my ward from State Line to Burnham Greenway, but also, you know, a very exciting DSER, what we dubbed as a DSER corridor, all the way to the interchange type of project. But this is a match, correct? Up to 300,000, according to the
No, sir, it does not require a match. Okay. However, because federal funds through the Surface Transportation Program were allocated already by IDOT and CMAP, this is a match, the 300,000. But again, it prevents the city from having to use its own funds. Right. Just to clarify, the Phase 1 has not been approved by IDOT as of yet, and the Phase 2 has not commenced. So this money is allocated and programmed for the Phase 2 when that Phase 1 is approved, and then we can do that portion, again, the east portion, from the State Line to the Burnham Greenway.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
So again, this approval, new business items, A1, 3 through 10. Is there a motion?
But
134.
I just had a question.
134 through 10.
134 through 10, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Mayor, you mentioned item 1 didn't need a motion, or it does need a motion? In the beginning of the meeting, you mentioned item 1 did not need a motion, is that correct, or no?
No, did not need it. Well, might as well do a motion since we're there anyway. Yes, Alderman.
May I add, for item 10, that it be with address, just to keep confusion down, because anybody with a handicap sticker can park in those places, but if it has the address, then it sort of gives them a little more security.
Did everyone hear the amendment the Alderman has requested?
The address?
Yeah.
Yes, with the address.
So the
Thank you.
motion to amend would be for item 10 to include the address on the handicap side.
Oh, okay.
Nothing else? Is there a motion to approve items 1, 3, 4 through 10?
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Gardner. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Navarrete,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Tillman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Patton. Smith.
All right, we're under building permits, new fence construction. Has everyone had the opportunity to look at fence construction? Not, if so, I'm sorry. Can you please make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderwoman Wilson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Navarrete to approve the fence construction as presented on the agenda. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Navarrete,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Tillman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Patton. Smith.
All right. C are resolutions. We just did these resolutions. D are financial matters, asking to table item 1 under financial matters. Financial matters, D2 through 30, Alderman Gardner?
That is correct.
D, D2 through 10. Is there a motion to approve Alderman Gardner D2 through 10?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner, second by Alderman Patton. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll?
Navarrete,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Tillman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Patton. Smith.
Item number 11 is a motion to approve constituent service communication platform. Alderman Gardner.
Hang on a second. So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner, second by Alderman Smith. Alderman, do you want discussion or just to vote?
I just can't vote on that.
Gotcha. All right, Madam Clerk, can you call the roll?
Navarrete,
This for item 11 only?
Yes.
11, yes.
Yes.
Oh, is it 11 on down or just 11?
No, just 11.
Just 11.
Yes, on item 11. Thank you.
Say yes.
okay.
Sorry. Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Tillman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Patton. Smith.
Yes.
On the roll call vote of 6 voting yes, 1 abstaining, the motion, item 11 passes. Item Alderman 2 through 12 through 30. Alderman.
30. I'd like to make a motion to approve items 12 through 30 as so presented.
May I take item number 27 separately?
So item Alderman 12 through 27, Alderman Gardner.
You can.
26.
26.
Oh my God.
27, right?
Alderman Gardner, if you want to make a motion, 12 through 26.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner, second by Alderman Patton on item 12 through 26. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Navarrete,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Tillman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Patton. Smith.
Yes.
Item 12 through
27 through 30.
27, 12 through 26, I'm sorry. And now item 27 on the agenda.
Yeah.
Is there a motion, Alderman, to approve item 27 on the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I
Motion
like the
made,
speed of that.
motion made by Alderman Gardner, second by Alderman Patton. Roll call.
I got Gardner Smith.
Gardner Smith, yeah.
Gardner Smith. Navarrete,
Now I'm going to wait.
Navarrete.
I'm thinking.
Oh.
Yes, yes, yes.
Wilson,
Abstain.
Tillman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Patton. Smith.
Now, item 28 through 30, Alderman Gardner.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Smith. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Navarrete,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Tillman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Patton. Smith.
Yes, Alderman Navarrete.
Nothing this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Wilson, unfinished business?
Yes, I would like to encourage everyone, I will have the two young men from Morehouse, their funerals are this weekend. In lieu of flowers and monetary support to the families, they have asked that people donate in their sons' names to a scholarship fund that will benefit students who aspire to attend an Ivy League HBCU like Morehouse. So that information will be on my social media pages, and I'm asking that if you can, just go ahead and donate what you can to support those in our futures. Please keep keep Hughes' family and Christian's family in your prayers. I'll also be posting about the Calumet City Chargers football program. That national football program went out and made Calumet City proud this weekend when they whooped all over Bolingbrook. And so they are selling raffle tickets. So they are planning ahead because they are already deciding they're going to Florida for the championships. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you, Alderman Tillman. Alderman Williams.
Nothing. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderman Gardner, unfinished.
Nothing further, Mayor. Thank you.
Alderman Patton. Nothing further tonight, thank you. Alderman Smith, unfinished.
Yes, just want to inform the Sub-Board residents that the 79th Street Barbecue has completed all of their inspections, and I think they've been issued their license, so they should be open now. Also, just want to remind the residents about the monthly town home at DA's Banquet Hall from 10 a.m. to noon this Saturday. I will try to serve refreshments, so please be prompt. Thank you.
Thank you. Just want to end the meeting with, there was a gentleman who came up earlier under public comment who commented regarding our inspection services. We have our director here from inspection services, and I want to not only set the record straight that we have one of the best inspection services department, but they have put a lot on their plate this evening. We have sped up inspections. We have done inspections the right way. We have, in the future, we're going to put technology in our inspection services. So I just want to push back on the fact that we have a not good inspection services, because we do. And we have a lot of businesses that have come to Calumet City that are still coming to our city. First stop is economic development, inspection services, and then the clerk's office. So we want to encourage businesses to work with our inspection services department, but I wanted to push back on that and let you know that we do have great employees in our inspection department, led by our Director Tillman, in the back. There being no further business to come before the city council, is there a motion to adjourn at 7:34 p.m.? Motion made by Alderman Smith. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Williams. Meeting adjourned at 7:34 p.m.